Hello everyone, welcome to the Bodhi Academy. In today's video, we will continue with the 11th biology chapter 5, that is the morphology of flowering plants. So in the first video we have learnt about all the different morphological structures in a flowering plant. So we have seen the root structure, its different parts, then different types of roots, then we have learnt about stem, its different parts, and then leaves, then the three main parts of a typical leaf, the venation of leaves and the types of leaves. Then we have also learnt about the phyllotaxy. Now in today's video we'll start with the inflorescence. So inflorescence is basically the arrangement of flowers on a floral axis. So as we can see here, it is the arrangement of flowers on the floral axis is termed as inflorescence. Okay. So now a flower is modified shoot wherein the shoot apical meristem changes into a floral meristem. So we have seen the shoots. Now in this case, in a flower is a modified shoot. Okay, the shoot apical meristem changes into floral meristem to produce the flowers. So there are two types of inflorescence based on how the flowers are positioned and how they mature. Okay, so the two types are cymose and racemose inflorescence. So in cymose type of inflorescence, the main axis continues to grow and the flowers borne laterally in acropetal succession. Okay, so in racemose succession, the main axis continues to grow. For example, this is a racemose inflorescence, and in this the main axis which is there, this axis, it will continue to grow. Okay, and the flowers will be borne laterally, okay, at the sides. So as we can see here, the flowers are borne laterally and they are in acropetal succession. Acropetal succession meaning the flowers at the bottom or at the base will develop, mature and open first, then the flowers at the top. For example, this is how it will be. Okay, so these flowers will be more mature. As we go down, the flowers will be more mature than the topmost flower or the flower present at the apex. So this is how the racemose inflorescence is. Then the next type of inflorescence is the cymose inflorescence. So in cymose type of inflorescence, the main axis terminates in a flower and hence is limited. Okay, so in cymose inflorescence, the main axis, this axis is limited. It does not continuously grow. Then the flowers are borne in basic petal order. So as we can see here, the flowers are borne in basic petal manner, meaning the flower which is at on the main axis or the apex of the shoot is will mature and develop first. So this is the older flower and the new or the young flowers will be developed laterally. So these are the new flowers. So we can see these are the buds of new flowers. So this is what cymose inflorescence means. Then let us see the different parts of flowers. So as we know, a flower is a reproductive unit in the angiosperms or the flowering plant. It is meant for the sexual reproduction. Okay, so a typical flower has 4 different kinds of whorls that are arranged at the swollen end of the stalk or pedicel. Okay, so this part is the swollen end of the stalk or the pedicel, and this part is called as the thalamus or the receptacle. Then the 4 different kinds of parts or the whorls of flower are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. So calyx meaning the sepals, corolla are the petals, androecium the stamens, and gynoecium means the pistil or the carpel of flower. Now based on whether the flower has both androecium or gynoecium, or only androecium or only gynoecium, the flowers are divided into two types, that is bisexual and unisexual. So when a flower has both androecium and gynoecium, it is called as bisexual, whereas a flower having either stamens or only carpels is called a unisexual flower. Then again, based on the symmetry, the flowers can be divided into three types. It can be actinomorphic, zygomorphic or asymmetric. So when a flower can be divided into two equal radial halves in any plane, okay, in any radial plane passing through the center, it is divided into two similar halves, such a flower is called a actinomorphic flower. So for example, if I have a flower like this and it can be divided into any plane passing through the center, such a flower is said to have radial symmetry and it is called a actinomorphic flower. Whereas when a flower can be divided into two similar halves only in one particular plane, such a flower is called zygomorphic. For example, if we have a flower like this, okay, and this flower can be divided into two equal halves only in a single vertical plane, so such a flower is said to be zygomorphic flower. Then a flower is asymmetric or irregular if it cannot be divided into two similar halves by any vertical plane. Okay. Then a flower can be trimerous, tetramerous or pentamerous based on the floral appendages if they are in multiple of 3, 4 and 5 respectively. Then again, based on the position of the corolla, calyx, androecium and gynoecium in respect to the ovary on thalamus, the flowers are again divided into or they can be classified as hypogynous, perigynous and epigynous. Okay, so in hypogynous flowers, the gynoecium occupies the highest position while other parts are situated below it, and such a ovary is said to be a superior ovary. For example, let us see here in this diagram. So here the gynoecium, this part, the pistil has the highest position, and all the other parts, the stamen, calyx and corolla are below it. So this type of arrangement is called hypogynous and this ovary is said to be superior. Then if the gynoecium is situated in the center and the other parts are located on the rim of the thalamus almost at the same level, it is called a perigynous. Okay, and the ovary is said to be half inferior. So here in these two examples, the ovary is half inferior and this is a perigynous type of flower. So in this, the stamens, carpel, calyx, corolla and the carpel or the gynoecium is almost at the same level in both these cases. So that is why it is called as the perigynous ovary or perigynous flowers. Then in epigynous flowers, the margin of the thalamus grows upwards, enclosing the ovary completely and getting fused with it, and the other parts of the flowers rise above the ovary. Okay, so in this case, the epigynous flowers, the thalamus encloses the ovary and the other parts grow above it. Okay, in this type of flower, the ovary is said to be inferior ovary. So this is the different types of flowers based on the position of ovary, the corolla, calyx and androecium. Then let us see the different parts of a flower. So we already know that various parts of flowers are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. So the first one that we have is calyx. So the calyx is the outermost wall of the flower and the members are called the sepals. So as we know, the calyx is the outermost wall and the members are called the sepals. They are generally green in color. So these are the calyx. Then the sepals are green, leaf-like and protect the flower in bud stage. So when the flower is in the bud stage, these calyx protect the flower. So the calyx may be gamopetalous when the gamosepalous when the sepals are united or joined together, or it could be polycephalous when the sepals are free. Then the next part of flower is the corolla. So corolla is composed of petals. Okay. So these are the corolla, which contains the petals of the flowers. So these petals are usually brightly colored to attract insects or bees for pollination. Now, like calyx, corolla can also be gamopetalous, wherein the petals are united, or it can be polypetalous, wherein the petals are free. They are not jointed. So the shape and color of corolla vary greatly in plants. So there is vast variation in the shape and color of these petals in different plants or different flowers. So there are also different shapes of these corolla. So it can be tubular, bell shaped, funnel shaped or wheel shaped. Then again there is another thing called as the estivation. It is the mode of arrangement of sepals or petals in a floral bud with respect to the other members of the same wall is known as the estivation. Okay. So the main types of estivation are the valvate estivation, then the twisted, imbricate and the vexillary type. So let us see. When sepals or petals in a whorl just touch one another at the margins without overlapping, it is called the valvate type of estivation. So as we can see here, the sepals or the petals are just touching each other at the margins. They are not overlapping. So see here, such type of estivation is called as the valvate estivation. Then the next type is the twisted. So if one margin of the appendage overlaps that of the next one and so on, it is called as the twisted estivation. So as we can see here, all the sepals are overlapping on each other and such a arrangement is called twisted estivation. Then if margins of sepals or petals overlap one another but not in any particular direction, such a estivation is called imbricate estivation. So here in this flower we can see the petals are overlapping each other but not in a fixed manner. Okay. So such type is called the imbricate type of estivation. And then there are 5 petals in some flowers, like in peas or bean flowers. There are 5 petals. Then the largest one, the standard, overlaps 2 lateral petals. Okay, as we can see here, there is one largest petal which overlaps 2 standard petals or 2 lateral petals. Lateral petals called wings. So this is the standard petal, the largest one. Then the 2 lateral ones are called wings, which the 2 wings in turn overlap the 2 smallest interior petals called keel. So these will overlap these 2 petals called the keel. these are the wings, and this is the standard petal. So this type of estivation or arrangement of the calyx and corolla is called as the vexillary or peplinious type of estivation. Then the next part of a flower is the androecium. Okay, so androecium is composed of these stamens. These stamens again have two parts. Okay, the anther and the filaments. So the filament is the stalk-like structure, and the anther is the part where the pollen grains are produced. So each anther is usually bilobed, and each lobe has two chambers. The pollen sacs, the pollen grains are produced in the pollen sac, and a sterile stamen is called as the staminode. A sterile stamen means where the pollen grains cannot be produced. So the stamens of flowers may be united with other members such as petals or among themselves, and when stamens are attached to the petals, they are called as epipetalous. Okay, for example, when the stamens are attached to the petals, they are called as epipetalous, or they could be called epiphyllous when attached to the perianth, as in flowers of lily. So when the stamens are attached to the perianth, they can be called as epiphyllous. And the stamens in flowers may either remain free or may be united in varying degrees. The stamens may be united into a bunch or one bundle, and they are called as the monoadelphous flowers. Okay, as in China rose, or they could be present in a bunch or two bundles. Okay, so they can be also present in two bundles, and they are called as the diadelphous stamens. Then when the stamens are present in more than two bundles, they are called polyadelphous. So this is about the stamens of the flowers. Then the next part is the gynoecium. So gynoecium is the female reproductive part of the flower, and it is made up of one or more carpels. Now a carpel consists of three parts, that is the style, stigma and ovary. So ovary is enlarged. Ovary is the enlarged basal part on which lies the elongated tube, that is the style. So ovary is the basal enlarged part on which the style is present. This is the style, this is the ovary. Then the style connects the ovary to the stigma. So there is a presence of stigma over here, and the style connects the stigma and the ovary. The stigma is usually at the tip of the style and is the receptive surface for pollen grains. Each ovary bears one or more ovules attached to the flattened cushion-like placenta. Now, when more than one carpel is present, they may be free and are called the apocarpus, or they can be also termed syncarpus when the carpels are fused. Now after fertilization, the ovules develop into seed and the ovary matures into a fruit. So when the pollen grain and the ovary fuse together, ovules fuse together, the ovules develop into the seeds and the ovary matures into the outside covering. The ovary will mature into a fruit. Then the placentation. Okay, the placentation is the arrangement of ovules within the ovary. So it is the arrangement of ovules within the ovary, and there are different type of this placentation or different type of arrangement of ovary inside the ovule. So the various types are marginal, axile, parietal, basal, central and free central. So In marginal placentation, the placenta forms a ridge along the ventral structure of the ovary, and the ovules are born on this ridge, forming two rows as in peas. So as we can see, this is a type of marginal placentation. Then the next type is when the placenta is in exile and the ovules are attached to the multilocular ovary. The placentation is said to be exile placentation. So this is the exile placentation, wherein the ovules are located over here like this. Then in parietal placentation, the ovules develop on the inner wall of the ovary or on the peripheral part. Okay, so this is the peripheral type of placentation. Then we have the free central, in which the ovules are free and they are positioned in the central. And then last we have the basal placentation, wherein the placenta is situated at the base, or it develops at the base of the ovary and a single ovule is attached to it. So this is all in today's class. In the next class we will see the fruit, the different parts and structure. So this is all in today's video. Thank you for watching my video. Please like, share and subscribe to the Bodhi Academy.